Probably gonna dance to this.
Yeah.
They might.
Yeah.
You know.
Is you ready for me? Is you ready for me? Is you ready for me? Is you ready for me?
This sounds go, baby.
Spotless.
Yeah.
Check it.
Nigga.
Check it.
Yeah.
Is you ready for me? Is you ready for me? This ass gon' go right here. Yeah. Line 'em up. Yo. I pull up in a throwback car, gray 7-8 with the top that's hard. I'm finna paint it back, send it on black tires. Fuck a backseat, got its own backyard. Niggas act hard, try to put a Mac card. Stunt in front of they dame, they playin' back far. Cause they got their ass kicked in front of their chick. And the niggas that they was with dip. Ain't that a bitch? Young keys flow under the weather. Come through something real big under the leather. Lil' mama, get your mind out the gutter. I'm talking about that 9, motherfucker. I grind like a hustler, CDs, tapes, the weed, whatever the case may be. I chase that cheese and never ever face defeat. Now watch how I lace that beat. Here we go. Niggas know what's up. Sick flow, sick beats, finna blow us up. Thick coats, thick freaks, finna blow us up. Hit drone, hit sweets, niggas know what's up.
Can't hold me down.
Niggas know what's up.
My click is down.
Niggas know what's up.
Can't hold me down.
Niggas know what's up.
My click is down.
Niggas know, yeah. I pull up with a throwback dime. She say she's 25, she at least 29. But man, them hips on her, lips on her, finna let it rip on her, flip on her, then dip on her. This is for them classy chicks, them undercover nasty chicks, them trashy chicks. Ain't scared to flash me quick. Oh, look at that ass, she thick. I can't let you pass me, miss. Off the chain, young keys spitting hot flows off the brain. Holla at me when you're ready to get off the.
What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? What's good? We back for another one. Alright, y'all. So, wanted to get out here. Hold on, yo. Wait for the audio to catch up. Y'all know what's up. Y'all know what's up. Alright, we rolling. Wanted to get out here, man. Talk a little Magsayo news, man. A little bit of Magsayo news. Coming down the pipe, and discuss, with the community about where do y'all feel like Magsayo's gonna rank? Is he gonna end up being better than Pacquiao, equal to Pacquiao, worse than Pacquiao? Where do you guys think Magsayo's gonna fall? I had a video I was trying to queue up and forgot to put the video on. I don't know how I can do this without switching. I really don't. I don't know how I can fix it without switching it. Maybe I can add it to this one. I'll probably just add it to this. Well, I'll figure it out in a second. What's good with everybody for today? I see Mr. Funny Man's already in here. What's good with you, bro? How your day going? Let me see what you're saying. Mr. Funnyman says, yes, sir, I told you. I think you need to interview him, chat him up on IG or his channel, Mark Magsayo. He might, but I don't know if he speaks. Does he speak like fluent English? I don't know if he speaks fluent English. I haven't seen his interviews yet, so I'm not sure if he speaks actual fluent English. So it'd be kind of hard to interview him if he don't speak English. I'm not sure if he would even be down for that. Let me see if I can fix this. I don't know how I would fix this. There's got to be a way to do that without. Well, I'm gonna see if I can add it to this one real fast since I forgot to do it earlier. Hold on, y'all. Y'all gotta hold on. Bear with me for a second.
And the challenger weighs in at 125 and one half pounds.
I think it's gonna let me do it. I don't know how to do it without messing up everything. Yeah. Now while it's playing, I forgot to add it in, but I don't know how to. I don't know how to add it in without messing everything else up all at the same time. So, yeah, I don't know how to do that. Well, I guess I just got to. I'm gonna have to save that one for tomorrow or something. Just man, as soon as I hit the go button, I'm like, man, I knew I forgot to do something, and that was exactly what I forgot to do. Gotta be a way to do that without scenes. Backgrounds. Gotta be a way to do that without switching it over. Nope. If I do that, switches right back.
And the challenger weighs in at 125 and 1/2 pounds. Mark Magsayo.
That's right, lady. That's what you get.
I don't even think I can do it. Maybe it will let me do it. Alright, where is that? Hold on, y'all. I'm finding it. I'm looking. Where did I put it at? Where did I put it at? Give me just a second, y'all. Just a second. I'm looking for something real fast. There it is. Hold on, I gotta fix it.
For all you haters, all you non-believers, all you gold diggers.
Hands in the sky. I can tell y'all shocked. Y'all can see it in your eyes. They see that I'm fresh. They know that I'm cool. I've been on the ground. I gotta make moves. It must be the clothes. It could be the shoes.
Alright, I got that up. Hold on. I'll fix one more thing. Damn.
It's going down. For all you haters, all you non-believers, all you gold diggers.
Hands in the sky. I can tell y'all shocked. Y'all can see it in your eyes. They see that I'm fresh. They know that I'm cool. I've been on the ground.
Alright, y'all. Got that fixed. So now we can go back. Should have done that a little while ago. I just think you should. Okay, I read that one. What's good with everybody, man? Hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what's going on. So Mark Magsayo is going for his undisputed at featherweight, man. It's gonna be interesting to see how this all plays out. I put up some polls today and everything about the whole Gary Russell fight and what people think about the Gary Russell fight. Pull that up, see how that poll is doing real fast. Okay, it's not doing bad. So everybody says Magsayo didn't cheat. Now a lot of people are saying they feel like he cheated. You know, his team. You know, the promoter set Gary Russell up. You know, for failure. Everybody knew he was injured before the fight, and I just don't feel like that. I think Magsayo gave a great fight. I think he did exactly what he's supposed to do when he got in the ring, and he pulled it off. Now we actually give Gary Russell a rematch. Him and his team said Russell deserves a rematch. Will he give Russell a rematch? We just gotta wait and see. But there's a lot more on the table for him. He has a upcoming mandatory with Ray. I did a video on it yesterday. I mean the day before yesterday. Let me look that up real fast. There's a mandatory shot coming up for. I think it's gonna end up. The fight's gonna end up being in April sometime, either May or April. Mark Magsayo, Ray Vargas is mandatory, and they have 30 days to make the stipulations for the fight to settle the A side, B side, you know, the money, all that stuff, and to get the fight made, or the WBC will make it. I think it's the WBC. Yeah, the WBC will make it themselves. And that's the first, first step to him trying to go undisputed in his weight class. I don't feel like he should hang around 125 for that long, though. I think all the money's at 130. But like I said a couple of days ago, if they're trying to progress Magsayo, they want to make him a better fighter before they move him up. Then it would be in his best interest to stay where he's at for a little while. But if I just don't feel like it, there's great fights there. There's a few good fights there, but they're not great fights. Let me see. There was something else I was trying to. What do y'all think about Magsayo? How y'all compare Magsayo to Pacquiao? Everybody's talking about this boy. Here it goes. All right, read this article. Mark Magsayo, there's no next Manny Pacquiao. The MANILA, Philippines. Mark Magsayo made it clear he's not the next Manny Pacquiao. Being tagged the next Manny has always carried a lot of expectations for any Filipino boxer, and Magsayo believes that there will never be anyone who can match let alone exceed the methods that Pacquiao created in the sport. Which is which is true, man. I just don't feel like it's good for people to say he should try to be the next Pacquiao. He's gonna carve out his own way and make his own path in the sport. And let me see. There's no next Manny Pacquiao. The only one, Manny Pacquiao, and I'm following his footsteps, said Magsayo. He's my idol since I was a kid. He was my hero in the Philippines. He's my hero. Magsayo, 24-0, got his career defining moment on Saturday when he defeated Gary Russell, WBC featherweight title via winning Gary Russell's WBC featherweight title via majority decision. The Filipinos' victory ended Russell's reign with the strap that lasted for 6 years and 10 months. Matching Pacquiao's collection, however, will need some work, as Magsayo will need to capture 11 more world titles across 7 weight divisions. So, I mean, it's people asking him to be the next Pacquiao is pretty much impossible. There's no way in HE double hockey sticks he's gonna pull off 11 titles in 7 weight classes. This is not gonna happen. But he definitely has the skills to pull off. I think 2, maybe 3, 4 weight classes if he wanted to. He can go probably all the way up to 147 if he wanted to. But will he actually do that? We don't know. We saw other fighters go from a really lightweight. He's not a really lightweight. 120 is not super light. But you've seen other fighters go from 120 to 147. And eventually, I think that's where he would max out at. That's where he would probably make the most money at. And I think that's where the best competition for the smaller guys is always going to be. But we'll have to see. That's way, way in the future. What can he do at 125 for the moment? He's got this Ray Vargas match coming up in a couple of months. We got to see how he looks. What can Freddie Roach fix in his game in 4 months, to make him a better fighter? Can he get him a good jab going, or can he fix his footwork? What would be the first thing that Freddie Roach decides to tackle in Magsayo's game to make him a better fighter? I think the first thing they should go after is probably the jab, because he leads so much with his head. They really need to teach him how to jab. The footwork can come down the line, but the jab is, man, he's really lacking the jab. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how that plays out. I'm gonna go ahead and play this video for y'all, man, since I had to mess everything up just to get it going. Y'all check that out real fast.
It's going down for all you haters, all you non-believers, all you gold diggers.
Hands in the sky.
What?
I can tell y'all shocked. You can see it in your eyes. They see that I'm fresh. They know that I'm cool. I've been on the grind. I gotta make moves. It must be the clothes. It could be the shoes. They stare me up and down like he must be the dude.
They got that shock look. 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 Look at them, look at them, look
They
at
say
them.
23 inches get you 23 freaks. Ride around the town, homie, do it like me. It go stop. The wheels keep spinning. Roof fall back, see girls all in it.
It's low ski, low key. Catch me by the bar, wildin'. Fitted hat, Tim Tims, and I done spent 1,000.
Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, 502. That's where I'm from, player. How about you?
And we're back, and we're back, and we're back. Did you see his hands? They had to wipe the. I wonder who he was sparring, man. I know we'll probably never know. Maybe they'll release it, sometime in the future when he changes weight classes. But there was definitely a lot of blood on his gloves that they were wiping off. So whoever he was sparring with, he was beating the crap out of him, obviously, because he didn't have a mark on him. I like Magsayo, man. I think he's going to be an exciting fighter for the future. I'm not sure if he can live up to Manny Pacquiao status, but so far, I think he's a very exciting fighter. I would love to see him move up to 130, though, man. There's so many good fights that I could think of that he can make at 130, 135. And, man, I just feel like him waiting around at 120 is kind of like a waste of his time, man, and his talent. Because there are at least 2 fights he can make immediately at 130. And I think they would be spectacular fights. One of them, I think he gets a knockout in. The other one, I think it would be a really, really hard fight. And the first one, I think, would be Ryan Garcia. I've said this before. I think him, Magsayo and Ryan Garcia will be a perfect introduction to 130. I think he would knock Ryan Garcia out. Even though Garcia got quick hands, I think Magsayo would actually get with him, and it would be a good fight for him. Ryan Garcia is a really quick fighter, so it'll teach him how to deal with a bigger, stronger, quicker fighter, and not really risk a whole. Because I don't think Garcia got a lot of punching power, but he's definitely got quick hands. Or you can put him in there with T.O., man. T.O., he needs a good fight. He needs a good comeback fight. And I think Magsayo could bang with T.O. It would be a slugfest for the entire fight. But I think Magsayo could bang with T.O. Somebody's getting knocked out in that fight. So definitely would love to see that one, man. Definitely would love to see that one. As far as 120, Ray Vargas, he's a tall fighter. I watched some of his footage. If you want to, you can go back and watch my other video I did about that. And he's a tall fighter, so I think Magsayo's going to have to work around his size, his jab, and try to use, footwork and to get around Vargas' size. But it should be an interesting fight when it does take place. They didn't say when yet. Probably at least going to be 3 or 4 months down the line. Definitely at least 3 or 4 months, because Sayo just fought. It's only been a week, so he needs at least a month to recover. I think they said a month to make the fight, so they had like 30 days or something to get the fight details worked out. So it'll probably be like May, April before they actually are in the ring together. Plenty of time for Freddie Roach to work with his fighter, man, and get him refined, get him ready, and work on his flaws. Because every fighter got flaws except for Canelo. I think Canelo's the only fighter out there we can say he can jump in the ring with anybody, and he's not gonna have a bad day at all. But Magsayo definitely has upside, man. Upside. He's never gonna be so anybody who thinks he's gonna be a Pacquiao, I just don't see it, man. He's a totally different style of fighter. He would almost be closer. Who would I compare him to? He's almost like a He's like a hybrid of Pacquiao and who's a good brawler. Not Marquez, but I guess you could say Marquez in a way because Marquez is a brawler. And Marquez is a go at him style of brawler. Like there ain't no turning it off for him. So he might be like a hybrid of Pacquiao and Marquez, which I don't know what you get from. I don't know what you would get from that type of hybrid. How much longevity could a fighter with those two type of skill sets? How much longevity could a fighter like that have? You never know. But he's a brawler and he has that Pacquiao style. So I think that's a good comparison. Or you could say he's a little he tries to be a little bit he's actually got a lot of Ugas style in his style. So with that looping punch that he throws, so maybe a hybrid of Pacquiao, Ugas, and Marquez. It's a word combination, but if Freddie, and Freddie Roach, I think has worked with all of them except for he might have worked with Marquez before in the past as well, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But I know he worked with we know he's worked with he hasn't worked with Ugas, but I think he's worked with Marquez in the past. So he's worked with Pacquiao and Marquez, so he knows how to fiddle around with those two type of characters. So we'll see what he gets out of Mark Magsayo. And the future is bright for him, man. I just want to see him at 130. I hope they don't waste too much time at 125. Because I feel like if they get one more title, they can go ahead and move them up. They don't have to collect all the titles. Because I think that could be an easier road at 130, especially if George Kambosos plans on move. Because I think there's a few guys at 130 he's gonna go through pretty easy, and we just gotta see who he gets his hands on first. I've been saying from the beginning it should be Vasil. That should be the fight that happens next for Kambosos. It should be Lomachenko Kambosos. Since we can't get Lomachenko Tio, it should be Lomachenko Kambosos. It just won't happen in Russia. He should have to go to Australia to fight Kambosos. I would hope Kambosos fights Lomachenko, then fights Davis, and then goes to 140. And whether he decides to go to 140 and drop his belts, or he decides to go to 140 just to get, a fill him out fight and make some money, then that those are two totally different things. But because I think if he moves up in weight, then that clears the way for Mark Magsayo to come in and stake his claim at 130. He might be able to become a champion very quickly. My neighbor got his dog out there running around, man. So his dog turned around in the neighborhood earlier. But I like Mark Magsayo. I say that 5 times. All right, y'all. Y'all check out the video one more time, man. I'll be right back.
It's going down. It's going down for all you haters, all you non-believers, all you gold diggers.
In the sky, I
What?
can tell y'all all shocked, y'all get scared in your ass. They see that I'm fresh, they know that I'm cool. I've been on the ground, I gotta make moves. It must be the clothes, it could be the shoes. They stare me up and down like he must be the dude.
They got that shock look, 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 they got that shock look. Look at them, look at them, look
They
at
say
them.
23 inches get you 23 freaks. Ride around the town, homie, do it like me. It go stop, the wheels keep spinning. Roof fall back, see girls all in it.
It's Moski, low key, catch me by the bar wildin'. Fitted hat, Tens, and I done spent 1,000.
Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, 5. Louisville, Kentucky, 502. That's where I'm from, player. How about you?
Man, I really want to see him. I really want to see him fight Shakur Stevenson at 130. I think that's the ultimate matchup. If he can clean out, 125 real quick, go get him a couple victories, maybe fights twice in 1 year, and he can go get a Shakur Stevenson fight. I think that would be a pretty and Stevenson holds a belt, I think, at 130, so it will be a pretty interesting fight. Every time I see his training video, I'm like, man, I would love to see that fight. Even like I said, him and Ryan Garcia, him and Teofimo, I think he's already ready for 130, man. He's ready to go up to 130, 135. And man, it's always something going on outside. But he's ready to go up to 130, 135, man, and make his splash. But he's got a couple fights he's got to take care of first before he gets there. He's definitely got a little bit of work to put in before he gets there. Me personally, I would love to see him develop his jab, develop his footwork. Because if he does want to be like similar to Pacquiao, those are I would say the footwork more than the jab. Because Pacquiao's not really known for his excellent jab or anything. He's more known for his power, defense, footwork, angles. So I would say if they want to model him after Pacquiao, the first thing that they got to get going is his feet. He's got to be able to use those weird angles to throw punches, which he did some of that in the Gary Russell fight, just not and he's so young, you can't expect for him to be doing everything Pacquiao was doing at this time in his career. He's 24-0, and I do like that. I think he's coming on at the right time. He's 25-0, I think now, or 24-0, and he's coming on at the right time. It's a lot of guys who have been around longer than him who don't have that many fights on their record. So for him to have that many actual fights on his record is impressive. And for him to be so young and have that many fights on his record is real impressive. So he's going in the right direction, y'all. I'm excited about it, and I think I want him to go fast. I want him to jump into these into these different weight classes and them. But I think his team ultimately they want to push the brakes, want to ease him into it. They don't want to rush him. He's nowhere near the name that he can possibly be over here yet. I'm pretty sure everybody in the Philippines knows him, but over here they got to build him up a little bit more, get him in front of some more eyes, which is why. And I think the problem the reason they're not going to move him up yet is because they're gonna have to. A lot of the good 130, 140 fighters are with PBC, so it's gonna be hard for them to make there's so many companies they're gonna have to work with at 130. That I guess they definitely should take it slow. It's some good fill 'em up fights that they got out there. Ray Vargas gets them in front of the Hispanic crowd, you know, and then there's another champion, I forgot his name, that they can face him up with immediately after that fight, I believe. But I forgot his name. I deleted that list the other day. Did I take it off? Man, I took it off for ESPN. I think it was ESPN Boxing Champions list. Yep. So who's all in his weight class? Who's he got? Come on, load up. There it is, junior lightweight. So at junior lightweight, 130, you got Shakur Stevens is the WBO. You got IBF is Kenichi Ogawa. WBA Roger Gutierrez, and WBC is Oscar Valdez. And then you got the flyweight 126. WBO is Emmanuel Navarrete. IBF Nico Martinez. WBA Leo Santa Cruz. And WBC is Mark Magsayo. That's who I was thinking of. I don't know if y'all can see it. It might be too bright. But right above him is Leo Santa Cruz. So after he makes this fight, I think that's who they're gonna match him up with. He might not actually try to unify all titles at 126, but I think he would try to unify at least one with one. And that Leo Santa Cruz fight, I think, is the perfect fight to put him in. I think it's a winnable fight, and I think that he can make that fight pretty quickly. I think, and Leo Santa Cruz has a nice little fan base, so you'll be killing two birds with one stone, man, after this Ray Vargas fight. So not only would you have got him in front of a Hispanic crowd once, but you would actually put him in front of a Hispanic crowd twice, plus a Hispanic American crowd. So it's definitely, the best way. Hispanic fighters sell well, so there's nothing wrong with playing off that market, putting those two markets up against each other. And that's how they built Pacquiao. Pacquiao fought he fought Morales, he fought Barrera, they matched him up with the two best Hispanic guys at that time. And it worked really well because he got two classic, well, four classic, I think, fights off of that. off of those two fighters, I think he got four. I think he fought Barrera twice too. I know he fought Morales 2 or 3 times. So build him up correctly. But I think he fought Morales in them at 130, 135. But build him up correctly, and the Leo Santa Cruz fight is a good fight. I think that's a perfect fight for him. I wish he could have got there before the mandatory situation. Mr. Funny Man, do you think who is the best Pac-Man or Marquez? Who do you think is the best Pac? Of course, you already know. There's no comparison. Manny Pacquiao is better than Marquez. He got Marquez caught him with a good one. Marquez caught him with a good one. You can't be mad at that. You can't be mad at that at all, man. He caught him with a good one. We all catch a good one on a bad day. And the thing about that is Manny Pacquiao was actually winning the fight, so I don't feel like that was such a bad victory like people be trying to paint it out to be. I mean, a bad loss. It was a good victory for Marquez, but a bad loss for Pacquiao. He just got caught with a good punch. That fight could have really went either way. Was I expecting him to get knocked cold out? No, but it was turning into a war. So somebody was gonna get. It was either gonna be him or Marquez in that fight. Put it that way. One of them was going down. So, and it just happened that Marquez caught him with the perfect shot. So, can't be mad at Marquez with that. Same thing. You can't hate Mark Magsayo for beating Gary Russell with one arm, so-called. And here's the thing about that one arm situation. Everybody keeps saying he only had one arm. He only had one arm, and he hurt it in the fight. I'm like, how could you have hurt it in the fight if you were saying your arm was hurt before the fight? So now they're trying to make it seem like he hurt him with a punch that he threw in the third round is when he hurt his arm. But you had already came out like 3 days before the fight and said your arm was already messed up. So I'm starting to not believe the whole arm injury situation. Because, I mean, you can re-aggravate something, re-aggravate it, but if you had already come out and said your arm was messed up, how could you have injured your arm in the third round? I just don't. So I'm kind of throwing that arm injury stuff out of there. Hate to say Marquez scared to fight fifth time. It's unfair because Pacquiao always give him a chance to. Yeah, that's the thing about those losses, though. And the Marquez and the Mayweather situation. You know, both of those guys, I think they felt like Pacquiao could beat him again if he wanted to. So, you know, both of those guys wanted to go. They wanted to go out on the victory, which is kind of lame. Because, you know, if either one of them lost, they would want a rematch, like you said. Marquez lost, 3 times out of the 4, and Pacquiao gave him the rematch every time. It wasn't like a hesitation. So I just think it goes to show how petty some of these fighters really are, man. It's not just a good competition to them; it's personal, and it's petty personal with some of them. Because I don't think it's petty personal with Pat. He fought you 4 times, and he just wants one rematch, and he can't even get that. That's kind of pathetic. And in Mayweather, Pacquiao gave you your biggest paycheck ever, and you won't give the man a rematch. And everybody says it's the worst fight in history. The most expensive and the worst fight in history. And this is the same fight that everybody says Mayweather put up the most magnificent performance and all like that. Everybody thinks that fight was the worst fight in history. Let's see what y'all say. Mark Magsayo versus Emmanuel Navarrete. Who wins? I've never seen Navarrete, but I just read the list off, and I believe he's the WBO champion. So I've never seen Navarrete. I've heard his name. Yeah, he's the WBO champion. Nico Martinez is the IBF. Leo Santa Cruz is the WBA. Mark Magsayo is the WBC. Who win? Canelo versus Pac-Man. Prime versus Prime. Catch weight fight. Huh. And it depends. Because what you mean by prime? So are we talking Canelo 154 prime? Canelo 147? Canelo I think he was at 140. What Canelo are we talking about? Because Pacquiao, I mean, same thing with Pacquiao. We talking 130, 140, 147, 154. Let me see. God of offense and God of defense. Pac-Man versus Floyd. Equivalent boring fight of history. Ha. I don't even think it was that. I don't think that's why it made it boring. Because, I don't think it was that. I think it was just a horrible fight. Pacquiao was hurt, and Mayweather's not fun to watch, ever. Even versus a hurt fighter, he couldn't muster up enough to put on a show to not bore people. Like, Mark Magsayo and Gary Russell are nowhere near as famous as those two guys. And they put on a heck of a show, last weekend. And something memorable nobody ever forget. People are trying to forget. They're trying to laser burn Mayweather Pacquiao out of their brain so they can forget it forever. But that's the worst fight in history ever. The worst fight in history ever. The worst. I almost I wanted to jump out of a window to that fight. It was so hard. And listen, I didn't even watch the last couple rounds of the fight because I knew Pacquiao was about to lose. I could just from the jump of the fight, I knew he was gonna lose. So it was just a horrible fight. Nobody can say that fight was entertaining from either side. Mayweather didn't do anything special. He didn't. There might have been 3 solid punches thrown the whole fight, and 2 of them came from Pacquiao, but he still lost. I remember 1 solid punch coming from Mayweather, and that's the one that Pacquiao threw a punch, and then he missed, and he tagged Pacquiao with the long. That was the best punch Mayweather threw the whole fight. And but people can say what they say. Say what you say. Whoever you like won the fight. Whoever you like, who cares? That was the worst fight in history. I hate talking about it. I hate remembering it. It was trash. Both sides was trash, and I don't feel like it was a representation of the best versus the best. I don't. That's why I want the rematch, because I think in the rematch, and if we would have got it like a year later, I think we would have gotten a better fight. But I think Mayweather knew that too, is why he never gave him his rematch. As far as Marquez goes, Marquez knows he got lucky. Lucky punch, lucky punch, lucky punch. Although the Marquez fight, and that's the funny thing, I would watch Manny Pacquiao get knocked out every night for the rest of my life if I could never remember the Mayweather fight ever. If I could forget every Mayweather fight that ever happened in history, I will watch Manny Pacquiao get knocked out by Marquez. That fight is so entertaining, even though Pacquiao lost at the end, got face planted. That's still one of the most entertaining Pacquiao fights to ever watch because of how back and forth it was the whole fight. And none of Mayweather fights, none of them, and maybe 1 or 2 with Pretty Boy Floyd, can compare to that one Pacquiao Marquez fight. They had 4 different ones, but there's a bunch of fights Mayweather had that you can put that fight up against pretty much all of them, and it would be more entertaining than half of his catalog. Personally, tell me one Mayweather fight that you would sit down and actually watch instead of watching Pacquiao Marquez 4. Give me one Mayweather fight. Just one. There's 7 people in here. If y'all could think of one that you would actually watch rather than a Pacquiao Marquez fight. I pour this tea over my head. One legitimate fight. Give me one. Let me see what y'all say. I remember also the GOAT, Michael Jordan, watched that fight. I want to see Adrian Broner fight again. He's a really funny guy. Definitely, man. I want to see Broner come back myself, man. I miss Broner. His antics, man. I just want to see him get out of the funk that he's in. I think it's messed up, the fact that he had so many friends and helped so many people out, and nobody really wants to help him out because he flushed $100 bills down the toilet, which is really stupid. But it was his money, so I don't see why people don't trust him with money because he flushed his own money down the toilet. This man was doing all type of stuff for other people, so I don't know, man. It just shows you, man, ain't nobody real in this world. Ain't no real friends. Most people say they got your back, but people really ain't got your back at the end of the day. It's just talk, because if you get in the Adrian Broner situation in your life, everybody gonna disappear on you. Everybody gonna talk about you behind your back. Everybody on Facebook and Instagram about you. So love ain't love, and I guess real ain't real either. So it is what it is. Just be cautious who you deal with. But I hope Broner makes his way back into the world, man. I like Broner. I only enjoy Floyd fight. Is the only, I guess you saying the only Floyd fight I enjoy is Canelo versus Floyd. You know, I never actually watched that fight. I might have seen like 1 or 2 rounds of that fight, but I never actually watched that fight. So I guess I can give you that one. There might be one actual Mayweather. There might be one Money Mayweather fight out there people will watch besides. But would you actually watch that fight besides the Pacquiao Marquez fight? If you was in the room and they're forcing you strapped to a chair and they say you gotta watch one of these fights for the next 16 hours, are we gonna smack you with a dead fish? You gotta watch one of these. We gotta watch one of these fights. Which one are you watching? Are you watching Pacquiao Marquez 4? Are you watching Canelo Mayweather? You gotta watch one of them. Floyd's, okay, I said Jake Paul taking Mayweather cap. That was a good fight, wasn't it? You can't even add those in because they're not real sanctioned fights. So I won't even add those into his career. I don't consider what's the Japanese dude? I don't consider him a real fight. I don't consider the Conor McGregor fights real fights. The Jake Paul's not a real fight. You know, none of this stuff is. I don't put none of that stuff on his record. Now I don't even really put the what's his name? The last actual boxer he fought, which nobody remembers his name. I can't even remember his name. And what the heck is his name? I can't even remember the dude's name no more. He's so irrelevant, I cannot remember his name anymore. You know, I guess he is that irrelevant. Let's not even think about him. What do you think, Jake Paul? This kid really good. What do you think? I don't even want to talk about him. He's so irrelevant to the sport of boxing. I don't even want to talk about him. Young and strong kid. Imagine he beat old Mike Tyson. The whole world would would have boxing became a joke. Listen, man. I'm glad Mike Tyson didn't go through with that because he know how much of a spectacle it would have been. And I don't think he don't need the money now, so he wouldn't do that. He did that thing with Roy because Roy is a real fighter. Even though he knew Roy didn't even have enough to deal with him at that age, you know. But he did that for Roy, you know, and he did it because Roy is a real fighter. Just like he wanted to do the Evander Holyfield thing because Evander Holyfield is a real fighter. I don't think he already said he wouldn't stoop to the level of Mayweather. He feels like Mayweather's ruining the sport as well. You know, it's one thing for Mike Tyson to be doing exhibition fights because of his financial ruin. It's another thing for somebody who's 100 bazillionaire and considers themselves the best boxer ever to be doing exhibition fights at this point in your career. If you are truly the best boxer ever, you should have left the sport and never stepped back into a ring again because you're basically embarrassing yourself and you're embarrassing every real boxing fan out there. Because now we gotta bow and bend to Jake Paul fans and listen to people actually take Jake Paul seriously. Like this is one of the reasons I don't watch no real other YouTube boxing channels. It's because it's all garbage. These dudes, if the topic ain't going viral, if they not, you know, if they're not pretending to know everything about boxing, which they don't, then then they riding these dudes count. Are they selling out to some MMA stuff? It is what it is, man. I can't watch this. I can't watch Jake Paul. I don't ever want to watch him ever, 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 ever. He's on my no list along with Mayweather. I would just never watch. I can't see how people support it. If you're a boxing fan and then you go watch Jake Paul, you slapping every other boxing fan in the face, taking this dude serious, giving this dude some money. Like you giving them a pedestal to stand on and pretend like he's actually doing something. While you got real fighters over here who deserve the money that he's taking away from the sport. That's a whole nother conversation. And then you got people, well, they bringing new fans in. I don't want to be associated with Jake Paul fans, like fans who think what he does is real. It's like Olympic wrestling fans wanting to hang out with WWF fans. It don't make no sense. It just don't make no sense. Our Bruce Lee fans wanting to hang out with wrestling fans. It just don't even mix. Oh, what y'all saying? There's a new Mike fighting Jake Paul. There's news Mike's that he already shut that down. Floyd IV got schooled back. A Golden Kings Toys. What's good with you? 100% LDBC clowns, man. You know what? And that's another thing Mayweather started. He started this whole race war in boxing that's been going on. And I don't get that part either. Like, why is everything based off your... I know why, but it's so stupid, man. Being a fan is now like... It's almost like a drama show. So it's the same thing as being on YouTube now. It's just a drama show. Everybody's in it for the drama. You ain't getting no views unless you're on some drama or you're on some retarded stuff. You on some racist stuff, some drama stuff. You just real over the top goofy with your character, like And I just never been into that type of stuff, man. But that's what's winning right now. I guess this is what people like. And Jake Paul should be, that should be the beacon of I'll be like, I can't believe this guy's actually making money in a boxing ring. I can't believe he's selling the most pay-per-views. I can't believe people are actually buying this crap. But it is what it is. I seriously can't believe that MMA is out doing boxing. Like, I can't even watch MMA. It was fun to watch MMA for like a year. After a year, it's like, there's nothing else I can really see in an MMA match that I ain't seen already. It takes like 3 minutes, most of these fights, for these dudes to beat the crap out of each other. And then it's over with. And I'm like, man, it's like watching a Tyson fight. And I don't know. I guess it's the excitement for some people of just the knockout, the constant knockouts. I guess that's what they want. But to be honest with you, I feel like there's no real skill in MMA. To be honest with you, I don't see where the skill... I know these people got styles and stuff, but it's really just trying to knock the other dude out. There's no real style. But I guess some people would say the same thing about boxing. Like, there's no real style to boxing, but I think there is more style to boxing than there is to MMA. Because most of the time in MMA, whoever's the first to get to the knockout is going to win. Because, they're brutally knocking each other out so hard, whoever lands their first good punch usually is going to win the fight and it's probably going to get stopped. Where in boxing, it's an excitement different. This guy might knock this dude down 2 or 3 times, but this dude might still win the fight. You know, that don't mean that's the end of the fight. That's the big difference to me between boxing. There's a lot more heart and skill in boxing, and in MMA, it's just like brutality at its core. It's like just all brutality. There's no real skill because, like I said, once you either got a dude down in a submission hold, or you done beat his face into a pulp, you usually are the one who's gonna win the fight. There's no a lot of time. There's not a lot of comeback fights. Like one guy getting knocked down 2 or 3 times, taking 2 or 3 knockdowns, and it's just not a lot of that in MMA, where there's a lot more of that in boxing. Floyd fought a Japanese teenager. I love fighters of all races: Mosley, Tyson, Loma, Pat, Triple G, Roman, etc. Yeah, man, there's so many fighters to like. Man, I don't see how you could be just, I only like black fighters. I only like British fighters. I only like Canadian fighters. I'm like, dude, there's millions of people out here you can like. Millions of different fight styles and all this stuff. I just, hey, I like who I like, man. That's why I stay to myself most of the time. Because you got to go through these ignorant conversations with some people. Well, I don't even want to be having these conversations with some people. Like, even like some of the people on YouTube, I'll be like, man, it's so, the conversations be so backwards, man. And this is sports. This is boxing. Whoever got the most talent should be the most praised. It shouldn't be based off of skin color, how you look. If Pacquiao was the most talented guy at that time, he should have got the most praise, and he didn't. And a lot of people hated him because because of Floyd was around, and they felt like because Floyd's black and he ain't ever been beaten, he's the best fighter. But it is what it is, man. It's a whole nother argument for a whole nother day. Yes, they'll sell pay-per-views because of the new kids and new era gens. That's only gonna last for so long. The Jake Paul era will only last for so long. Remember, we had the Tommy Guns back in the day. Guys like that who you had your crossover wrestler, boxers, and stuff. It's happened before. Jake Paul's just taking advantage of something that nobody else was using, and he's gonna have his run. He's gonna try to step in there eventually with a real fighter, and he's gonna get the crap beat out of him, and that I will watch. Now, if Jake Paul got in the ring and tried to challenge, let's even say Broner, because I think Broner would beat him to death. I would love to see. And, Broner might need to take advantage of that. Go get himself a big bag of money for beating the crap out of Jake Paul. Because I would pay to watch Broner beat the crap out of Jake Paul. Personally. Because that's all it's going to take. For him to try to challenge a actual real boxer. Somebody who has real boxing skills. It's going to get real funny real fast the way they bounce him around the ring. Like Tyson would have killed Jake Paul. And I think he knows that. And he knows he's not wrapped so tight. So he might have a flashback and really take that dude's head off. So I think I think he just bowed out of that. I think he was like, man, I don't want to have nothing to do with this because I might wind up hurting this dude for real. So, but somebody like Adrian Broner, he don't care. Adrian Broner don't give a F. Yeah. He'll go in there and do it. You go give him some money. He'll go in there and do that. Yes, obviously, what y'all saying. UFC fighters don't know how to box. Only Anderson Silva can, because he beat Julio Cesar Chavez, and that's only one time. Professional boxers got 20, 30, 40 fights on their career. Boxing, all boxing fights. So I would never favor a boxer in an MMA fight. I would never favor an MMA fighter in a boxing ring. I just don't. they're two different worlds, and they're two different martial arts. And most guys who work their whole career at one is never gonna be good at the other one. You know, that's more rare than fighters like Pacquiao. For you to be great at karate and then an excellent boxing, that's why what made Bruce Lee so special. Is because what he was doing was completely unique. And speaking of Bruce Lee, I never will have respect for the MMA until they make Bruce Lee their logo, because they stole everything everything from Bruce Lee. Everything that is the MMA was taken from what Bruce Lee was doing. They need to show him a whole lot more respect, because he created the MMA style, the whole mixed martial arts style. So it's kind of messed up how they done took advantage of that. But that's another argument for another day as well. Who is your favorite fighter? Favorite fighter? Me, Pac-Man, Tyson, Fury, Triple G, Mike Tyson. You said Tyson twice. You mean Tyson Fury? Okay, Tyson Fury, Triple G, Mike Tyson, Ali, Casemiro, Roberto Duran, the Hands of Stone. I love Broner. I think I said my top 5 yesterday, and it was Pacquiao, Ali, Tyson, Hopkins, and Klitschko. Pacquiao, Muhammad Ali, Tyson, Bernard Hopkins, Vladimir Klitschko. Those are my top 5. And then after that, I probably have to go. I probably go like I'll probably go Barrera, Morales. I don't know, man. It was start getting there's so many fighters to choose from after that point. But I know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know who those are. 5, number 6 would be tricky because I want to put either Barrera or Morales. I might have to put both of them right there. So I equally like them as I like them equally because they brought me to Manny Pacquiao. So and it was both fighters that I watched fight Manny Pacquiao that made me a Pacquiao fan. So I got a special place for Barrera and Morales. Let's see. But in real fight, Pac-Man or Floyd versus Bruce Lee, Pac-Man or Floyd win easy. In a real fight, Bruce Lee would kill both of them dudes. In a real fight, they wouldn't have no chance, neither one of them, because they don't know. He would beat them with his feet. He wouldn't beat them with his hands. He would kick their face off. And it would probably be so quick and over with so fast, it would make both of them dudes look kind of ridiculous. Because that's the thing and that's why MMA is so boring. It's because it can be over so quick. As long as you skilled and know where to kick somebody at, you can end the fight really, really fast. And I think Bruce Lee was that skilled and that talented to where if he faced off with a Mayweather or a Pacquiao, as soon as they lunged at him, he was going to kick their face into a wall, and the fight would be over with. And everybody would be so surprised how it ended, but it would end with him kicking their face into a wall. So he was just that good, man. I don't think they would have a chance. That's what they lack. They're gonna try some boxing stuff on him, but he's just gonna kick their face into a wall. They ain't gonna have no chance. That's the difference between boxing and mixed martial arts, is you can use your feet. And there's not a lot that a boxer's going to be able to do against somebody who can kick them in the face. That's why them two sports don't mix at all. It's because you can kick people in MMA. You can throw elbows and all this stuff in MMA. But that's what Bruce Lee meant by, a lot of these dudes couldn't mess with him because he was talking about no holds barred. Even though MMA it's not no holds barred. There's some holds that you can't do in MMA. But you know, it's as close to no holds barred as you can get. And you know, that's what he meant. It's like when you put me in here with some of these dudes who's gonna be trying to use boxing technique, all I gotta do is kick them in the face. And they ain't gonna have a chance. His feet was as fast as his hands were, and he could jump like 6 foot in the air. So I mean, what are these guys gonna? I don't know. Believe what you must, though. Pacquiao, Mayweather, neither one of them could mess with Bruce Lee. You would have to put Bruce Lee in there with some heavyweight boxers, and they would definitely have to be grappling with him for them to have a chance. That's the only way. If you can get him in some type of grapple situation, maybe you have a chance. But other than that, I think he kicks your face into a wall and ends the fight really quickly and laughs, walks away chuckling to himself. All right, y'all. I think I'm going to end it there for the night, man. We had a nice little laugh. I appreciate everybody for coming through. Try to get back on here tomorrow. I think there's some fights happening tomorrow, so we'll chop it up tomorrow. Hopefully I won't mess up the beginning. Have everything set up. We are out of here.
It's going down for all you haters, all you non-believers, all you gold diggers.
In the sky, I can tell y'all all shocked, y'all can see it in your eyes. They see that I'm fresh, they know that I'm cool. I've been on the grind, I gotta make moves. It must be the clothes, it could be the shoes. They stare me up and down like he must be the dude.
They got that shock look, 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 they got that shock look. Look at them, look at them, look
They
at
say
them.
23 inches get you 23 freaks. Ride around the town, homie, do it like me. It go stop, the wheels keep spinning. Roof fall back, see girls all in it.
It's most heat, low key, catch me by the bar wildin'. Fitted hat, Tim, and I done spent 1,000.
Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, 502. That's where I'm from, player, how about? Yeah. Is you ready for me? 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 Spotless. Check it. Check it. Is you ready for me? Is you ready for me? This ass gon' go right here. Yeah. Line 'em up. Yo, I pull up in a throwback car, gray 7-8 with the top that's hard. I'm finna plane it back, send it on black tires. Fuck a backseater, got its own backyard. Niggas act hard, try to put a Mac card. Stunt in front of they dame, they playin' back far. Cause they get their ass kicked in front of they chick. And the niggas that they was with dip. Ain't that a bitch? Young keys flow under the weather. Come through something real big under the leather. Lil' mama, get your mind out the gutter. I'm talking about that 9, motherfucker. I grind like a hustler. CDs, tapes, the weed, whatever the case may be. I chase that cheese and never ever face Lil' P. Now watch how I say stampede. Here we go. Niggas know what's up. Sick flow, sick beats, finna blow what's up. Thick hoes, thick freaks, finna blow what's up. Hit drone, hit sweets, niggas know what's up.
Can't hold me down.
Niggas know what's up.
My dick is down.
Niggas know what's up. Yeah. Niggas know what's up. Yeah. I pull up with a throwback dime. She say she's 25, she at least 29. But man, them hips on her, lips on her, finna let it rip on her, flip on her, then dip on her.
This is for them classy chicks, them undercover nasty chicks, them trashy chicks. Ain't scared to flash me quick. Oh, look at that ass, she thick. I can't let you pass me, miss. Off the chain, young keys spitting hot flows off the brain. Holla at me when you're ready to get off the lanes and on some real shit. I'm the one you deal with, feel me? Run game like Diddy in the marathon. Get shitty, drop 50 on the marijuana. Either give me 4 ducks or pearl swans. Young keys, S and I Don. Niggas know what's up. Sick flow, sick beats, finna blow what's up. Thick cold, thick freaks, finna blow what's up. Hit drum, hit sweets, niggas know what's up.
Can't hold me down.
Niggas know what's up.
My dick is down.
Niggas know what's up.
Can't hold me down.
Niggas know what's up.
My dick is down.
Take money, money, get money, money is my slogan. I cop what you guys is boasting. My game worldwide like oceans. Getting at these chicks, I leave they brain wide open whenever I'm in motion. I put the pedal to the floor and I'm coasting. Don't be them niggas that'll eye shit up, side shit up. Cause I'm in them brand new J's and I tie shit up. Around here, we Kentucky fry shit up. House, car, I keep an ounce in the jar. Next to the drink, on top of the bar. It's the S to the R. Who's fucking with us? I turn your stomach to a bucket of guts for really though. Can't mess with no silly hoe. And I don't give a fuck if she looking like a broad off a video. They got to have it, knowing that my money stretched like elastic, but they ain't getting jack shit.
Niggas know what's up. Sick flow, sick beats, finna blow what's up. Thick hoes, thick freaks, finna blow what's up. Hit drum, hit sweets, niggas know what's up.
Can't hold me down.
Niggas know what's up.
My dick is down.
Niggas know what's up.
Can't hold me down.
Niggas know what's up.
My dick is down.
Niggas know what's up. Niggas know what's up. Niggas know what's up. Niggas know what's up. They ain't ready for me. 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 Spotless. The old faux show. These slugs. Young Keys, the monster. Soft one on the beat. Niggas know what's up. And I'm out this bitch. Sick one right here, man. Niggas outside, they slangin' that ride. Chicks on the side, they slangin' that. Nigga like me, they making CD. Chicks making money, they breathing up. I said everybody gotta get paid. I said everybody gotta get paid. I said everybody gotta get paid. I can't hate you, dog. Get your pay. Hey, yo, I came up. Louisville, West End, nigga, 22nd Street today. And ain't nobody really paved the way. So I'm out here struggling, trying to make my way. I see lax, bourbons, nigga, North's watch. At the same time, I'm smoking on a talk stop. I'm thinking of his ways to get my bread in. But now it's a dead end, and plus I got dead friends. And my people just got out of that pen. Yeah, I should've wrote him, but you know how that is. Niggas see me rolling, cops pull me over and they mad it ain't stolen. Money be folding. You know I'm trying to rescue my nieces and my nephews, put them in a prep school. I suggest you approach respectful. I'm all about them big checks, dude. Niggas outside, they slangin' that ride. Chicks on the side, they slangin' that. Nigga like me, they making CD. Chicks making money, they breathing up. I said everybody gotta get paid. I said everybody gotta get paid. I said everybody gotta get paid. I can't hate you, dog. Get your pay. Hey, yo, I came up. 45th Street, West End, Louisville, back back in the day. And I seen a few niggas that they use them up. And I seen a bunch of niggas cause I moved a bunch. I seen fiends, gangsters, niggas bout they bread. Nigga try and hustle and they turn up dead. And a nigga see me rolling, think I'm about that money cause he see my teeth golden. I ain't got no dope in. You know I'm trying to bless you. My flow is special and plus I rap too. And it ain't just downtown Westport, nigga hustle on the ground. Niggas outside, they slangin' that ride. Chicks on the side, they slangin' that. Nigga like
in the North Pole, shorty move your torso, let your back porch roll, Louis skis is more so, when they getting more dough, put it on my wardrobe, take a little more dro, higher than the fourth floor, got some fans but I'm tryna let some more know, I'm the real deal, y'all faking like it's your no, pretty soon see your boy at award shows, I keep a chick with a stash like hormones.